There, I'm Christine Dunbar from SpeechModification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. Today's request for our word of the day was for the word atlas. And while we're talking about the word atlas, we'll also talk about the phrase at last and talk a little bit about how these two differ. So first of all, an atlas, which is a collection of maps, a book of maps, has stress on the first syllable. And so we have that a black cat vowel, and we hold that a little bit longer, atlas. And then this letter A is going to be a schwa sound or possibly also an I sound. I've written it here for you both ways. Basically, it's a reduced vowel. So I have my clear vowel, at, and then my lis is going to be very short. I'm moving as quickly as I can from the L to the S. There's almost no vowel there. Atlas, lis. So you can hear how, for me, because the L and the S are front vowels, it does, to me, make sense to use a little bit of an I sound there, atlas, lis. But I just want a really relaxed tongue. So in the dictionary, I might see the schwa, lus, atlas. I'm just going to have no tension and be very brief and reduced on that vowel. So atlas, first syllable stress. When we're using the phrase at last, we're going to be very short and reduced on that first syllable, and then last is our content word. It's what's important there. So if I say, at last I saw him at last, I finally, or it happened at last. I'm going to have that same a vowel that I had in atlas here in the last syllable. And in the dictionary, at is going to have this a vowel as well. And I can use that, at last. But typically in fast connected speech, that could get a little bit reduced and maybe be a little bit higher. So it might sound a little bit more like an eh. So rather than at last, it might sound like at last, at last. It's again a reduced version of the a, very short, not a lot of length, and so it's hard to hear exactly what vowel we're using. And I think the way that tends to get reduced is by closing the mouth a little bit more, rather than at last, at last, at last. I don't have the time to open up at last, and we tend to reduce that a little bit that way. So you can hear how those two, even though they have almost the exact same sounds, of course we have a T on last and not on atlas, the sounds are very different because of where the clear vowel is and where the reduced vowel is. Atlas, at last. And so knowing where the stress is in a word and how that affects the vowel can be very helpful for correct pronunciation in all words. You can learn a little bit more about syllable stress and vowel sounds in my intonation playlist, where I talk about how to stress words, how to learn about syllables, and how to use these clear and reduced vowels. And that's also covered in a lot of detail in both my Sounds of English course and my American Accent 6-week course on SpeechModification.com. So check those out. All of our online courses are either free or available for under $2 for a resource for you so that you can pronounce anything you want in American English confidently and fluently. I'll be back again tomorrow with another Word of the Day class, as well as on Friday we'll have our live question and answer class. You attend, type your questions in the chat, and I'll answer them for you live. Channel members will have our Sunday class, and in that class you can attend live and ask questions, or of course as a channel member you can ask your questions at any time throughout the week on any of my videos, and I'll cover it for you each week on Sundays. So if you're interested in that perk and other perks for channel members, do click the join button and you can see a little bit more about how you can support the channel as a member. Thanks so much those of you who have joined as members and those of you who have subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate your support. I'm Christine Dunbar from SpeechModification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. SpeechModification.com. Bye everyone. Hope to see you next time.